Good afternoon, everyone. We're going to get started in a moment. We're allowing folks to get in. We realize that, some people may be getting out of meetings or taking a bio break. And so we're going to get started in about 2 minutes or so. Just a reminder, I don't know if you received the email, but please keep yourself muted throughout the duration of this conversation. There will be an opportunity for you to speak towards the end of the conversation when you go into breakout rooms to connect with our panelists and their respective organizations. But during this conversation, please keep yourself muted. One more minute, folks. All right, we're going to get started. Welcome you all to our Bridging the Gap in Tech panel discussion and hiring event. My name is Lindsey. I'm your host and moderator for this conversation. I'm a board member for the 100 Black Men of the Bay Area. My organization is a volunteer organization that's part of the larger 100 Black Men of America. This year, we've given out $150,000 in scholarships for youth to go to college. We've also been hosting these hiring events for about seven, 8 years now. And we're happy that so many people or attendees are landing roles in tech. So we want to keep that going. Today, we'll be partnering with the San Francisco chapter of the National Black MBA Association, and my esteemed colleague and chapter president, Maisha Robertson, will be handling the AV for this event. Maisha, if you could say a few words about the organization and one of the events that you have coming up.
Absolutely. Hi, everybody. So thank you guys for joining. And as I dropped in the chat, make sure you drop in where you're joining from. And I was about to post the other one. Drop your LinkedIn profile as well in the chat so you guys can connect, because that is the point of what we do with 100 Black Men and what we do at the National Black MBA is connect folks to access to resources, people, a whole new network, and just anything that they need, And so National Black MBA is a national association. We have 42 chapters across the nation. I am the president of San Francisco Bay Area chapter, which covers all of Northern California. And so what we do, we are not just MBA based. If you have a degree, don't have a degree, but pursuing a degree in any business related field, then this is the association for you. Just like 100 Black Men, we do scholarships and opportunities just like this, where we partner with our corporate partners to provide you guys with what you guys need as employees, as staffers, as individuals looking for higher education opportunities. And so we have our actual 2022 Scholarship and Awards Black Tie event happening November 19th, and our brunch happening November 20th in San Francisco. Well, technically in Oakland. And so we'll invite you guys to join us. I'll drop the link in the chat. We will be having a fireside chat with Grammy-nominated R&B artist, singer, songwriter, and legend, Jay Holiday, Mr. Ben himself. And so I'm inviting everybody to join us if you are in the area.
Thank you, Maisha. Thank you for that. And just quickly, we also want to take time to highlight one of our partners that we're allies with, the Dreamers in Tech organization. It's a tech org that is focused on providing resources and raising awareness for dreamers in tech. And today we have Liliana who will say a few words about the organization and how you can get involved. Liliana?
Yes, thank you so much. Thanks everybody for having me here for a quick second. My name is Lily and I'm part of Dreamers in Tech, or DIT. Currently work at Odoo Inc., which is an ERP software, as a customer success manager. But actually it was DIT that helped me find my way into tech and connect with other undocumented and Dreamer community members that is pushing down the barriers to tech, as Marka mentioned. I am Chinese, but I was born in Mexico. So this goes to show that however you look, it could be your friend, your neighbor who needs the IT support, or we need your support to spread the word to really get into those jobs. So we know that the Silicon Valley is right there. We have our neighbors all around getting into this tech job. So a lot of the labor force that is supporting those businesses that are growing are not in those tech jobs. So it's helpful to know that we're right there and we can also get even further. So if you're interested or know somebody who may, please send me a DM right here or find me on LinkedIn so we can always follow up. So we really want to continue growing our Slack community so we can get connected with Tequeria, with 100 Black men in the Bay Area or wherever you are. We are trying to get a little more national, so definitely follow up. So thank you so much, Marco, and everyone for your support.
Thank you. And feel free to DM, I don't know, what chat box, Lily or Maisha with any questions that you all may have about anything that they just said. And so in a moment, I'm going to introduce our panelists. And we got some great ones today. Then I'm going to ask them a set of preset questions. At about the 40 to 45 minute mark, we'll begin to pull questions that you put in the chat box. Then at the hour, those that have to leave can do so. And those who can stay on will go in a breakout room so that you can network and speak to representatives from these companies. Company reps, please make sure that your screen name shows which organization you're a part of. And we encourage you to answer questions from career seekers in the chat box. They'll be coming up. And if you know the answer, if you have an answer respective organization, feel free to jump on that. Career seekers, if you're someone who's looking for a role, I encourage you to put your LinkedIn profiles in the chat box. I've seen many of you've been doing, but connect with one another. Click on those links, add folks, and then add them back, as well as our speakers. And so just a reminder, please keep your audio muted until we go out into the breakout rooms. And with that, we'll begin the conversation, and I'll begin introducing our panelists. First up, we have Janice Vela, and she's an senior associate of law enforcement and legal response at Chime and co-leader of the Chime Resource Group, CRG, for Latinx Chimers, Chimigos. In her role at Chime, she works closely with law enforcement to ensure the safety of all Chime members. She is passionate about helping people build relationships and strengthen communities. Outside of work, you can find her catching a flight or watching a Texas team sports game. Great to have you.
Thank you.
Next up, we have Brittany Green, who's a technical sourcer for Coinbase. She began a recruiting career 9 years ago working for a tech staffing agency, then moved on to work for an RPO in healthcare, and now for the past 4 years for one of the top crypto companies in the world. She is very passionate about equity and inclusion in both the tech and crypto industry. Brittany Green is also the daughter of military veterans and has lived in several states in the Midwest and East Coast. She currently resides in Chicago with her husband, stepson, and 2 dogs. Great to have you, Brittany.
Thank you.
Next up, Raven Bryant. Raven Bryant is Glassdoor's DI talent engagement partner. Since joining Glassdoor in 2021, she's helped bridge the gap between women in tech and the increased representation of people in color as a DI sourcer and continues doing so in her current role. She also currently sits on the leadership team for Glassdoor's Women's Employee Resource Group, WING, as co-chair. Before her time at Glassdoor, Raven held various positions within human resources in diversity, equity, and inclusion, also working to provide the best workplace experience for employees. Before starting her DI recruitment journey, Raven attended Northern Illinois University for her undergraduate degree and received her master's degree in organizational development from Northeastern Illinois University. During her master's program, she found a passion for better understanding how to serve underrepresented communities in their journeys of continuing education and career advancement, leading to her career now. In her free time, Raven loves to travel, try new foods, and help bring people into rooms and the roles that they dreamed about, continuously advocating for underrepresented communities of color. Thank you for joining us, Raven.
Thank you for having me.
And so I want to start off, with the question that we start off with every panel discussion. There's a lot of folks here who are either in tech or they want to get in tech and they want to know how. And so let's start with Brittany. Brittany, how did you get into tech? And I'd love to hear from everyone. How did you begin your career into tech?
Mine was an interesting journey. So I got my degree in biopsychology. So it's basically psychology with an emphasis on biology, so your brain. So I thought I was going to be a counselor, a psychologist, a psychiatrist. And then I realized that you need your master's or your doctorate to really make money. And I had my bachelor's and I needed money now. So went into the insurance industry, did a little bit of work there. And then I actually moved to Chicago about 10 years ago. Young, like looking for new opportunity, just putting out my resume. Company called me back, happened to be a recruiting company, and they worked in both tech and healthcare. And I was put in their tech division, completely brand new to me, new to recruiting, new to tech. They just took a chance on me because I was smart, I guess. Did that for about 3 years. Found out that I like recruiting. So that job that I had, I see a lot of people on the chatter from Chicago. My commute was 1.5 hours each way. So I lived in the city and was commuting to the suburbs. So my commute was about 3 hours every day. So I needed a new job, got another recruiting job that was a mile away from my house. So I got to walk to work every day. That was in healthcare. Did that for about 3 or 4 years. I was like, okay, I've got a lot of recruiting experience. I want to be with a progressive company. I want to be in an office that's new, fresh, people that have great, young, fresh ideas. And as I was doing my research on companies, tech kept coming up. All these tech companies kept coming up. So I said, okay, well, it looks like tech is the industry that I need to go in. So this website that I started looking at is called Builtin, Builtin, builtin.com. And it's a very tech-focused website. And it basically has summaries about companies, their perks, their opportunities, all in one place. So I really, really stuck to that website for about 6 months, started putting out my resume. Coinbase called, and this was my first in-house tech job, and I've been here for about 4 years. And I realized being in this opportunity, especially someone as a Black woman, there's not a lot of us here, but there's such a lot of opportunity here. So again, I just kind of fell into it, just by, having that mission of being somewhere progressive and being somewhere that I, working where I want to enjoy, not somewhere that I just need money. And so, yeah, I would recommend anybody that's looking to get into tech, like not only look into tech, but what is it that you want to get out of tech? Do you want to be around smart people? Do you want to be around fast technology? I think that's really important when you're looking to get into tech.
Thank you. Janice?
Oh, well, similar to that story, I kind of fell into it. So I was actually in the education world, and I had a friend that was like, hey, Facebook's hiring contractors, go apply. And I kind of laughed. I was like, sure. But I went, and I ended up working as a contractor reviewing ads. I ended up falling into this team. We reviewed large accounts for Louis Vuitton, Universal Studios, Tide, right? People that paid a lot of money. I was finishing up grad school, and I had a friend, she had left, and she started working as a full-timer for Facebook for legal and compliance. And she comes, we went to go have dinner, and she says, hey, we need people that are bilingual speakers to work for legal and compliance. And I said, she has a law degree background. I said, okay. And she goes, I'm going to talk to my lead, just show up to the interview, and all you need to do is read this legal document in Spanish. And I said, Crystal, come on. So I went, I got the job, and I said, okay. So I just started doing it. It worked out, and I was there at Facebook Meta now, and just, I was reviewing legal documents for Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp, from all these Spanish speaking languages. And then I came across Chime, and I was like, hey, I'm doing this. I applied, I got the job, and I'm very thankful for Crystal, pushing me to do that job. And I fell into tech, and now I'm at Chime, and it completely just worked out. And now that I'm in Chime, I've been able to wear multiple hats, and I've been able to do a lot of other things that I would have never done if I would have stayed in the educational route. So it worked out. And that's how I fell into tech.
Thank you. Raven?
Yeah, I guess I can round out the stumbling into tech here. My background is in like higher education. I did a lot of work with nonprofits. And then my last organization was a large food service organization. So when I was looking for and applying for jobs, shameless plug, I use Glassdoor to look at the reviews that told me about the culture of the company. Transparently, I've had a hard time being a Black woman in any position that I have held. And so the culture and environment was the thing that was the most important for me. And so I was interviewing with another tech company as well as like a bank and another nonprofit, and just the feel of like Glassdoor, the people that I like interviewed with, I could tell that they not only like walk the walk, but talk the talk. And just from like my interview with the director of me being like, you know, like, yes, you all are inclusive and you are promoting like people of color having the same opportunities and resources. Like, what does your team actually look like? And the fact that she like probably shouldn't have, but still pulled it up and like let me know like you are not the only one and would not be, and you will be supported here is like, wow. I was like, Glassdoor is the place that I need to be. And so that is how I ended up in tech.
Thank you. Thank you all. And the point that we want to underscore here was that there's no linear path into tech, right? Folks come here from different spaces, different places. And so there's an opportunity for everyone who can hear my voice. Everyone on this call, there's opportunity for you to be in the tech space. And so stay encouraged. For those that came in late, just a reminder, please put your LinkedIn information in the chat box. And if you see one, click on it and add it. And so my next question, and I'll throw this out there for either of you to lead off, and you kind of touched on this a bit, Raven, but how is it to be Black and brown in tech? You know, we hear a lot on the news, we hear a lot on LinkedIn about, you know, the good old boys club and, you know, how diversity numbers aren't necessarily there. And so what has your experience been like as a Black and brown woman in tech?
For me, honestly, this has been the best experience since like any role I've ever held. And I think it's because like at Glassdoor, my opinion is valued and I'm respected as a person. And they're not looking at me as like, oh, you're the Black voice, or we want your opinion because you are a Black woman. It's like, we want your opinion because you deserve to be here and you have valuable things to say. And so for me personally, it has been a good experience. And I think this is the most exposure I've had, the most development I've had professionally. And I have been connected to so many resources for the first time in my entire career here.
Yeah, I can definitely agree with that. I have been very lucky that I've worked for two companies that embrace and support the communities. You know, our Chime resource groups, you know, help educate company-wide the Chimers. You know, we kick off the year with Black History Month and we do it fun, but we also educate. And we just wrapped up, you know, Latinx Heritage Month. And we kind of educate everyone on the culture, but we also kind of do it in a fun way. So I think that that's been a great way to, you know, identify as part of being those communities. So.
For me, it's been both challenging and rewarding. So being in the crypto industry, it's already what they call broy as it is. So being in the crypto industry, you definitely have a lot of being the only one. You know, when I started at Coinbase, I was not only the only Black woman, but I was the only Black person on the talent team. So there was a lot of growing to do. But one of the things that I appreciated about Coinbase is that I was able to come to them and say, look, we have a diversity issue here. There's not a lot of people that look like me. There's not a lot of representation here. So I went and did a presentation to our VP and one of our other senior managers and said, hey, this is a program that I want to put together to increase our diversity here, not only, you know, at Coinbase, but within this talent team. And they were really receptive, and I've been able to do that for, you know, the last 4 years that I've been there. So that's been the rewarding part. So yes, I've been in positions where it's like, man, I'm the only one, having that imposter syndrome, like, am I supposed to be here? But then at the same time, raising my hand and saying, hey, we have a problem, can we do something about this? And they're actually being responsive to it.
Thank you. I mean, it sounds like some good experiences. I mean, mixed reviews are different. You know, it kind of depends on where you are, where you sit, what organization you are. But This is good news. This is good to hear. You all spoke a bit about ERGs, employee resource groups. How are they affecting the landscape within your respective organizations?
Our ERGs are very involved in every aspect of the organization. I was just actually working on a project, working with a lot of our ERGs to put together some recruiting resources and having them partner with us to make sure that, my thing is, I don't want to bring people in to check boxes off when it comes to diversity. Like, what are we going to do to make sure that we keep people here and make sure that people feel comfortable here? And that's where our ERGs come in. And so I think our ERGs have done a really good job of not only partnering with our recruiting and talent team, but just all aspects of the organizations, from doing talks like this, attending conferences, and just being a champion for the crypto industry. So, and they get a lot of shout outs from like our VPs and our CEOs. And so they're really valued at our company.
I can jump in. For us, so we have what we call a DICE council. All of our chairs, we meet quarterly with our CEO and the leaders on our people, places, and experience team. And so within the quarter, if anything is like bubbled up to me, like we mentioned, I'm on our wings leadership, I'm able to have a direct line and platform to talk to like the CEO and the leaders in Glassdoor and let them know how employees are feeling, and also come with like solutions of how we can bridge whatever gap is happening. And so being able to just sit and have open dialogue and like bounce ideas off with like the senior leadership at Glassdoor, I've never seen that happen prior, especially for somebody like at my level and who has only been at a company for a year. And so I feel like just providing like that resource and that exposure to leadership is how like our ERGs within Glassdoor are hoping to change in our communities.
At Chime, so since we're such a startup, it's been kind of really awesome that we've been able to kind of build the CRGs. And one of the things that I really admire is that we have executive sponsors that are part of that board, and it goes directly to the CEO. As being such a small company, we are so involved. And one of the things that we actually got to do this year is that we actually have products that we know that go to bilingual speakers. And the fact that we are able to sit and have, our intake, because it's going to be something that we help, our Chime members, that was something that was like, hey, we're not only doing this for our Chimers, that are part of our community, we are also helping people that use our products. So that is just something a little bit different, but it's such a huge impact. That was something we did this year, which was like very, and also not only leadership from the Chime Eagles had some type of opinion, it was also, the people that make up, the Chime Eagles. Also, one of the things is like, it's just company wide. Being part of something like this was also something we get major support in. We've been able to do more webinars, more panels, and we able to celebrate everything, and also knowing current events as a company, not just our community. It's been such a big impact that our CRGs get the support company wide.
Thank you. Here's the question. We got folks on the call who are here because they want to roll in tech, right? I mean, let's be realistic. That's what a lot of folks are here for. How would you advise a new career seeker to break into tech?
I would say get your LinkedIn updated. LinkedIn. My computer screens right now have about 15 windows of LinkedIn up. So whenever I'm hiring for someone, looking for a job, I'm looking at your LinkedIn page. And it needs to have information, not just your job and the dates that you work, but what do you do? And then there's tons of videos on social media right now that tell you the good buzzwords to use. I won't go through them. I've just come across them on Facebook and Instagram and TikTok. But there's some great advice out there. But my number one thing is have your LinkedIn up to date. If you want to be found, you got to have your LinkedIn up to date.
Plus one to that. Make sure your LinkedIn tells your story who you are and what you do, what you want to do. And I would also say reach out. There's countless of times I'm in meetings and there's a role opening up and I'm like, I have somebody for that. Like they sent me their resume on LinkedIn. We had an exploratory call. Let me see if they're still interested in, finding a new role. And so, whether it's just like a, hey, my name is, and this is what I'm looking to do. How has your experience been at this organization? Like putting your face and name out there, like you will be remembered, at least for most recruiters I know, like you will come top of mind.
Listen to your friend when they tell you to go apply. But besides that, definitely update your LinkedIn. Ask questions to, people that you've connected with and take a chance. If there's some type of stuff that you are familiar with, try it out. Most of the stuff, you'll learn it. It's if you know a realm of stuff, everything is, especially being in this field of work, you will learn it if you know some of it. Ask questions on, hey, can I do this? Tech is something that it keeps changing, it keeps evolving, right? And that's something you got to be moving quick, learn. It's like we all ended up in this, in this career, we didn't go to school for it, right? So that's just what makes sense. It's like attend these events, right? Just kind of polish up and see what's out there. And maybe what you're doing now will end up sending you somewhere else. Like, look at me, advertisement, legal and compliance, that does not connect at all. But I have more meaning to this job. I'm actually helping people instead of making corporations more money. So.
Thank you. Related to that, in a general sense, what are your respective organizations looking for in new hires? We come in. I mean, what type of attributes do you think that people benefit the most from being able to exhibit?
Okay, I'll take this one. Well, since Coinbase is a crypto company, one of the first things that we want people to be is passionate about crypto. So you don't need to be a crypto expert or a blockchain expert. When I first started here, all I knew was the word Bitcoin, and it was a lot of money at that point. And so what they really looked for in me was that passion about crypto. When it's good, are you excited? When it's bad, like now, or when it's down, I won't say bad. When it's down, like now, are you still excited? Do you really believe in the mission that we're trying to accomplish? And that mission here at Coinbase is creating that open financial system for the world. So no matter what your background is, where you come from, as long as you have an internet connection, you should be able to access crypto. So we really look for people that really identify with that mission. A passion for technology. Again, you don't have to be a tech person. I'm not a tech person. There's a lot of opportunities that are not tech focused, but really excited about technology and how crypto connects to technology. And then again, just be willing to learn. This is an industry that moves very, very quickly, and there's a lot to be taught and it's a lot to be learned. And the really cool thing about Coinbase is that they will teach you everything you need to know about crypto. So we actually get a $1,500 budget every year to go out and learn more about crypto, whether it's attending conferences, whether it's buying books, whatever it needs to be. They're actually now giving us money to take these crypto classes to learn more about blockchain. So a serious business here to really dive into the crypto sphere. So again, it's just about be willing to learn and be willing to be excited about crypto.
I would say here at Glassdoor, we're looking for, one of our values is good people. So somebody who is going to show up as themselves. Our mission here is to help people find a job in a company that they love. And so as long as you're aligned to that mission and you show up as your authentic self, we look for folk. We're gritty. We're super gritty here at Glassdoor. And just somebody who wants to grow. You need to be excited. I tell everybody, make sure that you do your research and have questions to ask, whether it's like culture, about our employee resource groups. We like people that are curious and who want to grow and are passionate about whatever it is. It can be recruitment, it could be engineering, but just have a passion for what you want to do and want to grow, and be willing to take on like stretch projects and lean into different like teams and do cross-functional work. So we just look for somebody who's just open to whatever Glassdoor has to offer.
For Chime, we want someone to fit our Chime values. Our priority is our Chime members. Fintech is something new. And also importantly, we have a mission. So it falls under the Chime values. Also, we want someone to mesh with our culture, right? We know our company is very young. So that's the main focus that we want. Like I said, we're a startup. We wear multiple hats. We need a team player, right? We are in a situation where we want to tailor our products to, millennials, because that's where we are. We want the fact that we get direct deposits 2 days before. That's helpful. I mean, I wish I had that when I was in college. So that's mainly the goal that they look for candidates. And like I said, we've all mentioned it. It's quick. It's a quick thing. And like personally, my experience, when someone's like, you're leaving Facebook for a startup, I do not regret it, because it's been such a great exposure for me professionally. So I think that you're looking to hit those values and a team player. That's what we're looking for as a company.
Thank you. Here's another question. Many times people in tech and in most industries talk about, the importance of having a mentor or a sponsor or someone to help them. And has that been your experience? First and foremost, have you had someone impact your career, and how has that helped your career trajectory, if so? And so, have you worked with a mentor or sponsor or someone else, and then how has that helped your career trajectory?
I'll take this one, just because it's very passionate. I'm very passionate about this question. Absolutely. Huge role, especially because I'm a first generation graduate. I had a mentor that completely changed my life. He encouraged me to get out of my bubble. He saw some potential that I did not know. I am learning constantly new things. To my parents, my leadership. Currently, my leadership has been very supportive. That friend that pushed me to apply for that job, my colleagues, and so many individuals, because I allow myself to ask those questions and take the feedback. So I want to say yes. And I continue to, be a sponge and to realize, hey, I'm lacking this development. And I'm, I don't want to say I criticize myself, but I do open this kind of sense of criticism to myself, let's say it that way. And that's how I've been able to achieve a lot of my goals, because I'm like, first thing I tell my manager, I'm like, give me the feedback. And he's like, okay. And, to my mom personally too. And she does not hold back, let me tell you. So.
I'll take it as well. My first nonprofit organization, I had a woman. She wasn't necessarily my mentor, but she was somebody that I trusted. And I went to her once I found out I was making there's a big difference between me and my colleague who were in the same role. On paper, we had the same background. I actually had a higher degree, and she was making like 20 grand more than me. And I was livid, went to my manager, my director, I went to HR, and they all told me that there was nothing they could do. It was time that I was hired, all of this stuff that I did not believe to be true. And I went to her and I told her how I felt. I told her how coming to work became super hard and that it was not fair. When I told her the dollar amount that it was, she got up from her desk and walked, I don't know where she went, but she came back. She was like, we're going to do something about this. And she fought for me. She got them to do a review of everybody that was in my role within the US. And they actually did give me a raise. I ended up leaving because obviously that organization did not value me, but she fought for me and she taught me the importance of going to people that I trust and telling them what I need and what I want, And that has like played a huge role in like my role now here at Glassdoor. During my interview process, I told my director I wanted access to her. I was like, I've never been developed professionally. I've never had anybody invested in me and my growth. And like, I need that from you. And she was like, absolutely. So we meet monthly. We go over like my goals, what I want to do, any classes that I want to take, and the people that I want to meet in the organization and build a rapport with. And she puts me in those rooms or in the Slack channel with those people to provide that space for me. And so this is the first organization that I've actually like been promoted at. And so it just shows of like raising your hand and asking for what you want can get you the things that you need and put you in the places that you want to be.
Yeah, definitely piggyback off of Raven is definitely asked, you know, we talk about mentorship a lot, but it's like, how do you get a mentor? Where do you find a mentor? And it's about asking within your organizations, you know, wherever job that I'm at, one of my first things aside from learning the job is who's going to be my mentor? Whether it's the person I'm reporting to, a colleague, or somebody in another organization that has a lot of knowledge or is in a place that I want to be. It's about asking and talking about what you want and what your goals are. That's how you're going to find your mentor. And then, like Raven said, hold them accountable, hold yourself accountable, have your check-ins, whether it's monthly, weekly, every quarter, whatever it is, to make sure that you're staying on track with your goals. I've been very fortunate at Coinbase to have a couple mentors that, you know, like I said, I raised my hand and said, hey, we need to increase diversity here. And they kind of looked at me and said, hey, she's a go-getter. She's wanting to set up processes. She's wanting to make this company culture better. And so they've invested in me. And I've been able to move teams. I've been promoted twice in my 4 years here. And it's all because I've asked and sought out my mentor.
Thank you. This is some good advice. I hope everyone is taking notes. I hope you're taking notes. These are people that are actually in the seat. They've done the work, and they're giving you the game. And so I'm hoping that you're taking notes so that way you can use this to help benefit your career. Here's a question. Actually, I'll give you a choice. You can answer either one of these questions, just depending on, you know, which one you feel more passionate about. What's the most difficult part of being in tech? You know, that's either one question, or what do you wish you had known when you first started in your trajectory in your career in tech that you know now? So either what's the most difficult part of being in tech, or what's something that you know now that you wish you had known earlier on?
I can go. The one thing that I wish I knew early on was that like I'm worth it and that I'm in every room that I'm in for a reason. And that anybody who made me feel like I was only there because they needed a woman on the team or they needed somebody of color on the team, they did not deserve to be in that room and in that space. So the one thing that I wish I knew and like held on to starting off is that like I'm supposed to be here because I'm capable and not because of the color of my skin or my gender.
I love that. Yeah, I wish that I didn't get into my own head, right? One of the things that I want to give advice on, and I need to take my own advice, is believe in myself, own my success, celebrate my wins. Like I need to know that same thing, like I belong at this table because I earned it. And I got here not because I got lucky. I mean, I could have stopped right there in that role, right? But it's not because of that. I got it because I worked hard and I continue to be at that table because if I didn't earn it, I would have gotten off that table. So I completely agree where you're coming from. And it's like, you give that, you open up that when you get into your own head for people to take that shot at you. And it's like, no, I belong here, and not to doubt myself, because then you give that opportunity for people to think that it's more confident. And I got an advice recently. It's like 90% of the time you're right. So say it with confidence.
I like that. Trust your gut.
Exactly. And if you're wrong, fix it.
There you go. Oh, sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off again.
No, go for it.
Totally agree. Definitely believe in yourself. That's a big game changer coming into tech. I wish I had things like this, like these type of talks. Social media, like it is these days. I'm probably a little bit older than some of you, but just having that advice on how to get into tech. You know, when I was going through college, I didn't even think about tech jobs or going into tech. I thought those were for the computer dudes. Like I wasn't a computer person, so I just wish that back in college, someone would have told me like, hey, you can be in tech and you don't have to work with computers. And so that's one of the reasons why I do these things too, is I really want to spread that message to people that are starting out in their careers and don't have to wait 10 years into their career to figure that out.
All great responses. All great responses. I'm gonna, pull one from the chat, and again, just remind folks, put your question in the chat. They want to hear from you, and we can figure this out. And so, one of the questions is around imposter syndrome, right? And I'm just gonna, for those who don't know what imposter syndrome is, I'm gonna put the definition in the chat. But have you all dealt with imposter syndrome? Have you gone through that, and how did you overcome it?
I can take this one. So it was recently, actually, and to be honest, I still struggle from time to time. I was doing a lot more than I should have in a previous role, and I was told when I gave feedback to my manager that I will never applaud you or reward you for doing your job. The initiative that I created and executed on actually won an award. My manager was highlighted in magazines. It was a lot. And the reason why I got so hurt and felt like I wasn't enough is because she didn't acknowledge that. And it was you're getting awarded, winning actual awards for the work that I did, and you won't even acknowledge the fact that I helped you get there. And so it was to me, I internalized that of was I really valuable, or did I really push, and could I have done more? And if she had have seen more from me, would she have acknowledged the work then? And I took that into my role here at Glassdoor, and my team, my leadership has done a lot to help me shake that and bring back my confidence. But it was hard. It was hard. I had to unlearn a lot of workplace behaviors. Workplace PTSD is a thing. And just finding people and being honest with your team of hey, here's where I'm coming from, and they'll know how to support you. So I overcame it by telling my manager, telling my director, and people who have been on the team for a while, I struggle in these places and areas, and here's why. And then they all have shown up for me, and they can tell when I get nervous or feel hey, I don't know if I can do this. And they always reassure me, and I will forever be grateful for my team for that.
Yeah, definitely imposter syndrome. I know I touched upon this a little bit, just being in crypto and the investment world and people that knew how to talk that jargon. I was I don't know. I just know Bitcoin. I just know it's the hot term right now. And so that was very intimidating coming into this space. And then it seemed like everybody I worked with had already had tech backgrounds, had already come working from a tech company. And so I'm oh shoot, I don't even know this tech culture. So now I'm trying to learn this as well. So definitely started at Coinbase being I'm not supposed to be here. I'm a diversity hire. Once the box is checked, I'll be gone soon. But like we said before, having that confidence in myself to say, hey, I could really make change here, and there's a reason I'm supposed to be here if I got the job. So being reassuring in myself, talking to my colleagues, like Raven said, maybe I was the only Black person on my team, but there was definitely a lot of other Black people there. And I would go and talk to them and say, how's your experience been? How do you feel here? And they really helped me navigate some of those questions and doubts that I had. So again, it's really just about talking to people and making sure that you hammer out some of those self-doubt that you have, because it can really eat you up and mess up your work. So it's just really important to stay focused on that. You're supposed to be where you are. It's about hard work. It's about communicating with your community and really going after what you want.
Yeah, for sure. It's like circling back to my previous answer. It's like realizing, your self-wins. And so and it's something I'm still working on. It's like, I feel like there's certain things that I need to work a little bit harder to like, I feel like, oh, let me make this area up because I feel like I lack, and it's like, no, and it's like exhausting. And I feel like, we discussed this in a Chimegos meeting, and I'm like, I'm not the only one that feels like this. So it did make me feel a little bit better. And this is something we addressed as a community. And it's like, okay, this is a thing. And I'm not saying that it's just something that, Chimegos was feeling. And then, we meet with other CRG leads and we're like, okay, this is something we can address. Let's bring a speaker and address this as a whole, right? And it was just like a company-wide thing. Everybody goes through this, especially in tech, right? Because like you guys said, we always thought it was for engineering. And so like engineering backgrounds. So this is very common, and it goes back, and I don't want to sound redundant, but it's like, take your wins, believe in yourself. And it's like, yeah, you're going to feel it sometime. I still do. And I'm like, Janice, snap out of it. Like, you're good. So.
Thank you. I'm gonna pull another question, and for the sake of time, maybe either one or two of you can feel free to chime in on it. Chime in.
Yeah, it's catchy.
So how do you deal with networking with your coworkers in this virtual space? And I'll just add to that, how do you deal with networking in general, given that a lot of the ways of the world are now virtual? I'll just do a quick plug that this type of event is a networking event. And so, we encourage you to be here. And we encourage you to, add those LinkedIns that were put in the chat box. And then also, follow up with folks, right? Don't just add their LinkedIn, send a note, set up a meeting, find out what they're interested in and see how you can help them. But I'd love to hear from the ladies. I don't know what I'm talking about. They're the experts. And so whoever, if one or two of you want to take this one on, how do you network with coworkers? And they say it without seeming creepy.
I'm very social. Getting involved and cross-functioning with teams, with other CRGs, just finding some common ground, not only, with communities within, but just working with them, learning, attending events. I want to learn how to do SQL. I don't have any type of background in, any type of data, and so I try to attend, different events at other teams, been going to the office more, and, I tend to talk a lot and I like to be social. And so that's one way to, I go to events like this, and even though I'm not participating as a panelist, I will go and, add people on LinkedIn. So that's one way that I do believe that helps me connect with, a lot of individuals, not only at Chime, but in other organizations as well.
Totally agree. Just what we do here is we have a social budget. So we have $150 a month to go and hang out with people. So whether it's talking a 30-minute chatting with each other, what we call coffee chats. So you guys can order coffee and chat with each other. Our ERGs host events all the time. They just did, I think it was Bomba dancing class virtually just recently. We had a Lego building class. So we do a lot of fun things. And again, sometimes it's just reaching out to someone. Like Jana said, there's a lot of people I'm sure that you work with that are very passionate about what they do. And if you're interested, just send them a note, say, hey, want to learn about this, what meeting can I join? And just something as simple as that. And you'll just doing that one simple thing will kind of help your arms branch out.
Thank you. Here's another question, and I'll combine two, but it's about training, right? And how dedicated do you see either your organization or any organization that you've been in, or the tech industry in general, on training new talent and retooling folks? And whether that's, they spoke on engineering, but are your respective organizations providing training opportunities for the folks that work there? And if so, what do they look like?
I can speak to this. So my team in particular, we have we do shadowing. So if I want to learn more about something that my coworker does, like I can ask for time on their calendar, like, hey, I want to learn this. Can you show me this? Or I feel like this will be important at some point in my life and I've had no exposure. So I would just say we're super open here at Glassdoor. I've reached out to people on our people team, like, hey, can I be a fly on the wall in a meeting? Can I look at how you do this project for whatever it is? And nobody has told me no yet. So I would say we're super open to training. There's opportunities to shadow, and folks will let you sit in on meetings if you're curious and want to learn more about what they do, especially if you're expressing interest in this is the path that I'm trying to take and it makes sense. I think everybody here is pretty open.
I'll quickly say internships. It's a great way. Coinbase has a lot of internships. Doesn't matter your age, it just matters if you're in school or not. So that's kind of one of the ways that we develop talent. All of our internships, of course, if you do well, you're offered a full-time position at Coinbase. So definitely check out intern opportunities.
Thank you. I have a question for you all. What are some words of advice that you would give someone who's on this call? They're interested in getting into tech. They may not necessarily know, anything or anyone. You're their first point of contact. What advice would you give them on getting into tech?
I would say connect with me. A lot of folks on my team are here. Hey team, connect with them. We all like to talk. So get to know us. Our internships will be opening up at the end of the year as well. Check out Glassdoor, our website. They'll be listed on there. I would just say hi, make us know you, your name, your experience, what you want to do, so that you're always top of mind.
Yes, same for us. Reach out. There's a couple of people on this call also for our company. We are growing. Please reach out to us, add me on LinkedIn. That's just networking. It's something that I definitely advise you. Like I said, I was up, like I mentioned, I saw a posting for Chime. I wasn't looking for a job. And then all of a sudden Chime called me and that's how I ended up at Chime. So just, post, and you never know if that job is for you, then it ends up being your job.
I agree. Connect. LinkedIn. I'll say it again. I'll preach it again. LinkedIn. Have your profile updated. Tell your story. Apply. Even if you only meet 50% of what they're looking for, apply. Don't be afraid. Again, believe in yourself. You are worth it for this job or wherever you want to be. It's about hard work and dedication. So don't be afraid to go after what you want in tech. I know tech can seem scary. It seems like you need to be a coder or you need to come from this tech background. None of us did. So apply, reach out. Don't be scared. All of you can do it. Trust me.
Thank you.
Sorry. I just want to add one more thing. You get an interview. It's good practice. They say no, you're ready for the next interview. Practicing interviews. I had so many interviews. So when I interviewed for Facebook, I was ready to go. When I interviewed for Chime, I was ready to go. Interview, take those nerves off. It's good to practice.
All good stuff. Again, please be taking notes. These are going to help your career. Even if they don't help your career, they can help someone else that you might know who might come to you for advice. And so continue to think about that, especially paying it forward. What are some of your favorite industry news sources or that are specific to some of your functions?
Well, I reference mine. Well, I guess it's news source, builtin.com. For anyone that's looking to get into tech, they have articles about all the tech companies, just about what they do, what their mission is, what they're looking to do. Talks about their company perks, which is always nice to learn about. And then it also lists all their job opportunities. That's where I found my opportunity with Coinbase. So again, it's a really one-stop shop to not only learn about what's going on in the tech industry, but who's hiring as well.
I think mine.
Sorry, what was the name of that site you were talking about again?
I'll put it in the chat.
I was gonna say mine is probably a little obvious, but Glassdoor is a great resource. We have everything you need from reviews. We have salaries, like we have best practices for interviewing, questions to ask during your interviews, all of the things. But if I had to pick something that is not Glassdoor, I would say LinkedIn. I think I'm like subscribed to every newsletter possible, and I'm in like every group that involves like recruitment and DEI. And so I learn a lot, and I'm able to forward just like a lot of job opportunities and things to like my friends. And so yeah, I think LinkedIn would be my second.
Got it. Here's a question. I think I want to change it up a bit, but it's about layoffs in the industry. What does job security look like in the tech space from your perspective? And it doesn't necessarily have to be at your company, but is that a thing? Should folks be worried? Is this a time to be transferring over into tech?
I'll go ahead and take this question since people probably heard Coinbase in the news this past summer. We did have layoffs. Layoffs happen with any company. Even the most stable companies have layoffs. There were layoffs across Facebook, Tesla. Now they're saying Elon Musk is going to lay off Twitter. So the tech industry as a whole is kind of taking a hit right now. However, it's cyclical, right? This could happen at any time to any company. We just kind of have to look at the general market conditions. Our general market is crazy right now. So there's always going to be risk within the market. When it comes to Coinbase, it's crypto, it's volatile anyway. So that's why it's really important for you to come with that passion for that mission, because there's going to be what we call crypto winters, where the market's down and people aren't excited and things slow down. So just super important to just be excited and continue to look forward and just realize like sometimes layoffs will happen, but one thing about tech companies I will say is they tend to take care of their layoff people. So a lot of times you won't go away without a severance or anything like that. Our company actually set up talent services where we help those people that were laid off to say, hey, we need to get them new jobs. So we had our manager say, go through your network. You need to plug these people into new roles right away. So we did everything that we could to make sure that people landed on their feet. And we're still doing that to this day. So I think it's important to be with a company that if something were to happen, that they're passionate about taking care of their people.
Thank you. I think we're gonna stop there because we're just about at time, and I know that some folks might have to hop off in about 2 minutes. But I also want to make sure that we announce that we will be going into breakout rooms, and so all the questions that you have in the chat, you can go into the breakout room and ask directly. And not only, our panelists, but also other representatives from their organizations. And so I want to thank our panelists, Raven, Janice, Brittany. We want to thank you all for being here, for imparting so much wisdom on us. It was necessary. It's appreciated. Thank you, respective organizations, Glassdoor, Coinbase, and Chime. We appreciate your partnership. We appreciate you want to be community partners, right? And doing the right thing to connect folks who are interested in tech with the knowledge and information necessary for them to make that connection. I want to thank everyone who joined the call, all our career seekers. Thank you for being here. Again, make sure that you do not leave this call without getting someone's contact information. Make sure that you do that. That's going to be extremely important. And then also, we want to thank the San Francisco chapter of the National Black MBA Association and also the Dreamers in Tech. Get involved with these organizations. These are your opportunities to create more opportunities like this. And so in a moment, we are going to be going into our breakout rooms. My good colleague Maisha is going to push us into those at this very moment. You'll be in there for about 20-25 minutes. We'll announce before they close, and then we'll come back for the official close. But again, we want to thank everyone who's here now and who may not have the opportunity to connect with the recruiters and representatives from the org. And with that, we will go into our breakout rooms.